Ready Player One.
Dave's
Pop culture
Podcast.
Did you put pizza all over this house? You make me so angry, or you're fired.
Good one, Patrick.
Welcome to Dave's Pop Culture Podcast, YouTube edition. And today, we bring you episode 2 of Bat Chat.
If you could make your own Batman movie and you could have your own villain or maybe two villains, what villains would you put in there?
Well, I know the DC are trying to do this the CW crossover at the minute where they're doing their Crisis on Infinite Earths. I really want to see. It's one of my favorite, one of my other favorite animated films, which is the Justice League. Is it Earth 2, where they cross over into the dimension where Batman is Owlman, and you've got basically the reverse versions of all the characters. So the Joker's a good guy. And I'd love to see that, because some of the things you can do with some of the characters they had would be really, really interesting. Obviously, Superman's a bad guy in the crossover universe. In their universe, Lex Luthor he's essentially like the nicest guy in the world, and this is really good crossover. I'd love to see that. It's a brilliant animated cartoon if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, I don't think they could ever explore that on TV, just because even though it's all DC, you have CW and Fox, between the Batman and the Flash and Arrow. So they probably couldn't bring in all those, but dude, that'd be a hell of a thing to watch. And it couldn't be a movie. I would want that in a TV show too, just to get, like Ed's been saying the whole time, enough backstory for each character and do one at a time. That'd be awesome. My DC movie of choice is going to combine something that we both love, Ed, as well. Surprise, surprise. But I need... Oh, this is going to answer so many other questions, but I'll do it. I need Michael Keaton as Old Man Bruce Wayne. If you're already going to cast Robert Pattinson as my new Batman, make him Terry McGinnis. Make the changes. I need to see my two Batmans. I want to see him get his training. I want to see him become the Batman he needs to be. And my villain, I want Red Hood. I know Red Hood's been amazing, but I want to see old school Robin, who only Old Man Batman can recognize. Who now think about it. So he's training, in essence, his new Batman, right? Who is kind of his Robin at this point, to go against his old Robin, who is now his Joker. Think about it. That's the movie that I want.
I totally thought you were going to say Victor Sass.
Copyright, trademark. Go ahead.
I totally thought you were going to say Victor Sass for your villain, but I love Red Hood, man. That's a great idea. Man.
Victor Sass? Really?
Well... a little, I don't know if you really told anybody, but you wrote a short story with Victor Sass in it, and it was really good. And it was a good, just like, I guess, a fan fiction or something. And
yeah,
I really enjoyed
brought in Victor and treated him as just a straight up serial killer that Batman was tracking down. Yeah,
it was pretty good. And that's why my brain first went there. But yeah, I guess you do love Red Hood, and that is like,
I do.
And is that either one of or like your favorite movie is Under the Red Hood, right?
It is.
Batman
animated.
animated?
For the animated movies, I have a few favorites, and that was kind of, I'm going to call it my gateway for the animated movies. Obviously, I had seen Mask of the Phantasm and Sub-Zero before, but there was a definite change in the animation style and then just the graphic nature of for kids and then not for kids. And so Under the Red Hood was the first one that I had seen that wasn't the family-friendly Batman that I was used to. And even though I was aware of the backstory and stuff from comic books and graphic novels, just seeing it on screen and the voice acting, everything it really took me. And I just love that character so much. And that's the irony of my idea that I want to see, is because, the whole thing about Red Hood is that's who the Joker was before he was the Joker, and so everything's just turned full circle in that. And I don't know, man, bring in Tim Burton. I want him to direct it too. Like, that's my movie. Make it happen.
That'd be awesome. What do you think, Neil? What would you do?
You wouldn't have to bring in Killer Croc, right?
Would you do like a full blown, like just the origin story and just make people feel for him?
Well, yeah. I mean, especially having read up his complete backstory, I mean, it's absolutely fascinating backstory. So it was compared to they've done all these films on Harley Quinn, who essentially has no backstory. She just happens to be a psychiatrist that goes a little bit mental. You've got a fully fleshed out character dating back to his childhood of being bullied for having scaly skin. It's all there. I mean, plus when he goes off to the circus to be in the freak show, you could have this whole lead up to him becoming the evil Killer Croc, and then right at the end busted out into a enormous CGI 12-foot monster. That would be. Maybe they'll do it now. Maybe now the standalone Elseworlds, like films like The Joker.
For sure, dude. And here, just instantly thinking Killer Croc. If you don't go over CGI, do you bring in like Ron Perlman to play Killer Croc?
Ron Perlman, I love, but he would just be a green Hellboy to me if he did that. Who's there? You couldn't bring in like Jason Momoa because he's now Aquaman, and a very good Aquaman he is. But it would have to be a giant dude.
What about
Absolutely
Tyler Mane?
giant.
Hell yeah, let's get Tyler Mane. He played Michael Myers in Rob Zombie's Halloween. Big bald dude with a beard. Bring him in, make him Killer Croc. That dude's super tall, and he's ex-WWE and WCW wrestler. So why not?
Yeah, I'm down with that. I mean, maybe somebody from Amazon or Netflix is listening. You don't know.
There it is. Yeah. I am willing to sell all these ideas for a small price. Just saying.
I think Ron Perlman would make a great Killer Croc. He's got a pretty menacing voice, and I mean, they can CGI anything. I think he could totally sell it. If you guys have seen Sons of Anarchy, like, I think just the fluctuation of his character, you could see him in almost any way. I think if they made Killer Croc kind of like an anti-hero, I think that would be cool. I mean, eventually he'd be borderlining on like insanity, of course, with his like reptilian nature. But like, I think he'd probably have like good intentions, and maybe he could like try to like save people. Maybe there might be like a scene where there's like a kid who's like drowning, and only he can like swim out there and get to the kid in time, and because he's so fast in the water, and like people will just not have any idea what's going on. And then when they see him, they'll think like he's actually the villain, but he actually saved them, but he's just in the shadows. I mean, that's actually kind of like Batman's story now that I think about it. Wouldn't that be a crazy little?
Would you give him the Creature from the Black Lagoon treatment, where people are actually trying to hunt this Killer Croc man, for prize money, and he's just living in his own habitat? Think about that. And so now they come into his world where he lives, and so he's defending himself, and of course he's like creeping and stalking. You get the camera kind of floating in the water like that Jaws view, and he brings him down, shreds him up. It's kind of like watching Crawl, when they did the good practical of like red blood in the water.
That is awesome. Yes. As soon as you said that, though, it took my mind to something completely different. Have you guys seen Green Mile? Think of Michael Clark Duncan as, if he were still alive, as Killer Croc. You know what I mean? Think about that.
I don't know. I would have to see that, though, to believe it, because even the guy was a phenomenal actor. I mean, Green Mile, he made everybody and their mom cry. Like, that was a legitimate performance. However, with Neil's version of Killer Croc, and this is why I said Ron Perlman too, is it not only has to be somebody big and somebody that can believably whoop ass, like, they need to sell it, bro. I need to see the pain and torment of their life, and I want somebody that, can really deliver on that aspect. And so, if you're going to go to the Green Mile route, that was the only time I'd seen Michael Clark Duncan do that, because hashtag not my Daredevil, or not my Kingpin,
Well, here's the other thing. This could be a way of reviving Swamp Thing, the new Swamp Thing series, which by all accounts was fantastic and cancelled way before its time. Killer Croc actually shacks up with Swamp Thing at the end of Modern Age New Earth. You do a new series, you have them both. It's a perfect segue into having a whole series on them.
Yeah, I'm sold.
That's
I
so
said I'd sell the
strange.
idea. Instead, take my money. Let's get this thing going. It just shows, man, DC, they have it locked down on TV shows. I mean, anything is possible, and maybe they'll pull some of their ideas and put them on the big screen. I mean, just goes the Superman route. The Superman movies, they're hit and miss. I mean, obviously they were great, back in the early days with the early 90s, should I say, not the early days, with Christopher Reeves. At least the first two everybody really loved. But look at Smallville. I mean, even people that weren't diehard fans still said it was a good show, and it went for what, 10 seasons? But since then, where's been the success of Superman? I mean, he had a couple movies and he was okay, but nobody's really been like, that's my Superman.
It peaked in the 90s for me with was it Clark and Lois?
Okay, yeah.
What was his name?
Clark, yeah.
Lewis and Clark. Dean Kane. Dean Kane.
It's not
every
Dean Martin,
Saturday.
I promise.
Every Saturday, I absolutely always loved watching that
I
show.
have to know, did you watch that for Lois or Clark? I mean, let's be honest.
I was at the age where, I was just starting to notice certain changes. Okay. Yeah, I had some very confusing Saturday afternoons, yeah. So.
And that wraps up this episode of Bat Chat Volume 2. I want to thank everybody for watching and just listening to us bring our ideas of Batman and the DC Universe together. If you guys get a minute, we would love to hear from you, so don't forget to like, comment, and hit that bell notification because you don't want to miss what we have in store on the next episode of Dave's Pop Culture Podcast YouTube edition.